Congratulations and sir यार मैं बताऊं क्या है। देखो जी, एशियन कप में जितने गोल मार लो हारो जीतो, स्टी मैच साहब आए जाएं जो करें, कैंप मिले 8 हफ्ते का 12 हफ्ते का, ना मिले कैंप, मतलब मैं सारे पॉसिबिलिटीज दे रहा हूँ यहाँ पे। इंडिया वर्ल्ड कप जीत गए, कुछ भी हो जाए, नन ऑफ इट कंपेयर्स टू द हैप्पीनेस रेनेडी भाई और भाभी पूजा अभी जो एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं, है कि नहीं भाई? इससे बेहतर कुछ चीज हो नहीं सकती। रेनेडी भाई has just been blessed with a baby daughter. Much love to you, Renedy bhai. Much love to you, Pooja, and much love to the young one who's entered this lovely world of ours. बड़ी बड़ी रातें जहां नींद नहीं मिलेगी भाई, but 2%, two baby person telling him as is.
You are, and you
Oh,
are only sounding this excited because you are getting a bit of a work break.
I am in
Working.
Bombay.
Uh,
भाई ये ना,
uh,
ये तो आपने बीवियों वाली बात कर दी है, आई डिडंट एक्सपेक्ट इट फ्रॉम यू। मच लव टू यू रेनडी भाई, and congratulations, and yeah, beautiful days ahead for you, so enjoy them, and which is why Renedy bhai will not be joining us today. It's only apt, but
you
Ishwak
didn't,
hamare bhai will be
you
joining
didn't
us
send
soon.
any link.
No, I didn't send it to him. You mad? No chance, bro. I can't do that. I can't request Renedy bhai. So my conversation with Renedy bhai in the during the day was, हाँ brother मैं hospital जा रहा हूँ। मेरे को लगा क्या हो गया, तो I didn't care to ask him. मुझे ये नहीं पता था, आपने बताया बाद में कि दुनिया की सबसे ज़्यादा खुशी उनको मिली है। So much love to you Renedy bhai, and yes, enjoy the days ahead. Beautiful days ahead. हाँ मेरे भाई, talking about beauty, the exact opposite is with me. Um, भाई सॉरी, यहाँ अकेला हूँ, आज नींद मिलेगी तो मैं जोश में हूँ।
Uh,
क्या हाल है भाई? कैसा था मणिपुर का ये पूरा ट्रिप? बिफोर यू गेट इनटू दिस थिंग, फ्रॉम योर पर्सपेक्टिव, फील्ड पे बड़े दिन बाद गए हो आप, और आप फील्ड के तो बड़े पक्के खिलाड़ी थे अपने टाइम पे, जब जांगों में जान थी, जब फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी थी। कैसा लग रहा है मणिपुर का ये पूरा दौरा करके?
but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a while for at least football work on the ground. I mean,
हम्म
World Cup was a good workout. Uh,
हम्म।
that's for sure. But yeah,
हाँ,
after that, this is the first kind of um, chance to see something actually on the ground.
हम्म
Good 10 days, yeah. It's really great to see how much football is going on in that small state of Manipur, uh, like all the time.
हम्म।
All different kinds of levels of tournaments, from stuff that's being played on essentially mud grounds to small turfs to bigger turfs to full uh, like the zonal competition for the Reliance Development League was going on
हम्म।
as well at the same time. Their own league is just concluded. The under 17 uh, क्या कहते हैं, Hero Youth League, what is it called?
Whatever it's called, we understand your
That
feelings.
also finished.
हाँ हाँ।
So lots of clubs, lots of academies coming up, and a really engaged kind of community also around it. There were like a game between Classic, which is Rendy's academy,
हाँ,
uh, and the local Sai team. And there were like 500-600 people in the stands, like very engaged with what is happening on the
हाँ।
ground. It's amazing
That's
to see that
beautiful यार।
level. Yeah, it's really great. So all the complaints of like infrastructure theek nahi hai and all that, those issues need to be highlighted because these guys deserve to have much more playing fields, particularly the hilly areas. There's a major discrepancy between what is happening in and around Imphal in the valley
हम्म
and बाहर क्या हो रहा है, like जैसे एक उखरुल करके डिस्ट्रिक्ट है where Soso is
जी
from, Somatai
हाँ
Shaiza.
Yeah.
Uh, there they have two grounds, but they are mud grounds, and like you see the state of them. Um, it's it's tough for any kind of like proper competitive football to happen there.
Hmm.
Modern football. It's good for fun and all of that, and fine. It's good that they have at least somewhere to play, but it's nowhere close to what can be done. So good to highlight all of those things. But despite all of that, the sheer volume of football going on is incredible to see, man.
Yeah,
And
bhai.
the crowds and everything. I mean, for the last game, the India Kyrgyz game, the
Hmm.
stadium was filled up more than an hour before kickoff. That doesn't happen like
Insane, man.
yeah, it
Insane,
doesn't
man.
happen at anything. I mean, Champions League final में भी लोग आ रहे होते हैं आधा घंटा 15 मिनट पहले ना
Yeah.
यहाँ पे भी आ रहे थे बट वो वही लोग आ रहे थे जिनको पता था कि उनके लिए रास्ता क्लियर किया जाएगा
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
so, the normal
It,
fans have
uh,
started coming in from 3 o'clock in the afternoon, man. That
it,
was
often, why it often surprises me why we don't play more games in these centers. Another center in Maharashtra is Kolhapur,
yeah,
which this has this kind of craziness for
crazy,
football.
crazy. Uh,
वहाँ पे जो टूर्नामेंट होता है उनका, मैं नाम भूल रहा हूँ उस टूर्नामेंट का.
I guess because there are so many places vying for it, right? Like now see Calcutta is not any less frenzy, right? And
Yeah, but it's
Calcutta,
dispersed. It's dispersed, na bhai.
what do you
Um,
mean?
in the sense, Calcutta में पागल हैं. I'm not denying that. But it's broken up purely due to the geographics of the city. Um, and it's a big city. People have their own lives going on. There's a lot more going on as opposed to where in Imphal, where you have these two games coming up. So people are preparing themselves and they're clearing out their schedules
Yeah,
for these two games, come
yeah,
what may. And
yeah.
also the
No,
fact that it's the
and that
first international
also
game in Manipur, so that
absolutely
counts for
right.
something.
People like couple of people, local people who I said like we were saying, yeah, it's the first time this happening. Assuming that they would know, but they're like, oh, really? you know, everyone's quite surprised that this hasn't. It's taken us 70, 75 years, however many years, to get a game in Imphal, and yeah, it's amazing. You sit in the stands, man, and people around you. No, obviously, a lot of the conversation is in their own various languages, but you get the basics of it. Football when someone is discussing. And
Yeah.
you definitely get when people are watching in an engaged manner, right?
Did you get
So
that vibe? Did you get that vibe? Remember with those glory days of Houghton, and they made the Ambedkar their ground. And I'm not
yeah,
saying Delhi is a place where this kind of a reception will always be given, but purely because Ambedkar is a small stadium,
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
takes and you kind of you're connected to it. भाई हम लोग जब मैच देखने जाते थे, we thought we were part of the team or part of the
absolutely,
games in some way, and
yeah,
so
yeah,
we would plan कि जब next खेल रहे आ रहे हैं हम जा रहे हैं
yeah.
देखने के लिए,
Yeah, so
was
so
that
so
kind of
that's why it's so important, and I think it's a point that the coach has stressed to, or at least he told us that he has been stressing to the federation that we need to have more matches at home because only when people get a chance now, even the crowd, right? They get eight, okay, seven, eight boys are from Manipur. So but you see, like people are coming to the practice sessions, people are coming to the hotel, people are coming to the airport to receive them, like and just not organized, right? There are some people that may
beautiful.
be organized, but these people are just coming and just like हम जा रहे हैं भाई देखने team आई है, that kind of
हाँ,
scene,
हाँ, हाँ.
right?
And by how do the players take to it? I mean, it's one thing to say कि जी हम player हैं, हमें हर जगह ऐसा reception मिलता है, पर क्या उनको ऐसा
No,
reception
yeah.
मिला है हर जगह?
So it's a हाँ maybe ये भी है, and so maybe a little more could have been done in terms of external outreach. Like the players could have visited a couple of places. There was time on this trip,
Yeah,
but
actually, man, that's a good idea. Good point.
yeah, अब ideas तो भाई भरपूर है ना हमारे पास. हम तो
किया
हमारे
क्यों नहीं
से
भाई फिर? तो मतलब ये लड़के लोग कर क्या रहे थे?
Huh?
training hotel,
No,
training
no, no.
hotel.
So
Bas.
they in their own subsets, kind of people. I mean, they had a very busy schedule also, like because football, and then the coach can't also not complain about there not being enough time in camp, and then give people free time to go and do events. वो भी
Yeah,
उसके
yeah.
पास भी 6 दिन ही है to work on whatever he needs to work on. Because
Hmm.
नहीं तो हम लोग आ जाएंगे भाई बोलने की ये क्या खिला रहा है
हाँ, हम तो
तू.
बंदूक बंदूक
How
निकाल देंगे, हम तैयार निकाल
how will
देंगे.
the crowd wake up if you know if this is no
हाँ,
no I mean so um, and we asked him that for those who I don't know if people who joined in saw that chat or whatever and
everyone
no,
did. People have really liked it.
yeah so he said as much that yeah well and in the second, these visiting guys also some blue pilgrims guys were there.
हाँ.
Shout out to them. It was good to meet them in
So
Imphal.
where did these people come from? From Cal and all?
Bengal, yeah. A
Hmm.
couple of guys came in from Bengal, and then they've started a local Manipur chapter. So they're kind of building that chant culture and getting a few
Hmm.
core people together who have to then, like you see in European games and South American
Yeah,
games.
you need people to organize this basically. You
Yeah,
need
the guy
someone to
who's
take that over.
organizing it. It's like an
हाँ, हाँ.
orchestra, so it has to be kind of orchestrated in that sense. Yeah.
भाई तो
So
फिर हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
नहीं बताओ.
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि तो बताओ आपने दूसरा मैच देखा? मैं भी अभी देख रहा था, मैं उसको लाइव नहीं
हम
देख पाया
सभी
था।
ने देखा. हाँ अच्छा यू डिड.
हाँ, आप स्टेडियम में थे।
हाँ.
क्या क्या लगा? सेकंड हाफ में मुझे चांगटे भाई ने तो बहुत इम्प्रेस किया है। एंड इट गेव मी अ सेंस ऑफ व्हेन यू आर प्लेइंग दिस सेम लेवल और अ लिटिल मोर अबव यू लेवल काइंड ऑफ opponent, and when you say you've taken a lead and then they're coming at you because उनको दिल पे लगी है, they'll come at
Hmm.
you with full force, which they did in the second half.
Yeah.
But उसके बाद they'll also leave space, and
Yeah.
to make full use of that space is someone like Changte. Now the key being, and I might be repeating myself like a broken record,
Hmm.
is Changte part of your main playing 11? If not, then how will you develop that option? Because if he's not, then Manbir will do it. But Manbir has very different qualities to what Changte gives you. And if you see potential, you reckon then the way forward is to keep on making this boy play. Because he gives you something with pace. And you saw crosses also coming in that second half.
Yeah. Yeah, see, yeah, I mean, anytime we have these kind of discussions that are in the end based on a system, right? It's a tactical and availability situation. I'm pretty sure Manveer would have played that game and it would have been a 4-4-2 kind of situation. But then Manveer not available, so then you play three in the middle, five in the middle. That that's the other option, right? Essentially, the way they were shaped for large parts of the first half, for sure.
Hmm.
Uh, that Akash Mishra was kind of part of the middle five,
Yeah.
and the other three guys were playing. Preetham Anwar and Sandesh were playing kind of as centre back, stopper, whatever. Right. So depending on who you have and what kind of system you're trying to play, um, yeah, it's
Right,
a tough
I don't
one.
know.
It's a tough one.
No, but
I like the fact that he's completely willing to take on the player. It takes him a while to figure out, I think, what the player's
हाँ,
strengths
हाँ,
and
उसको टाइम लगता है.
and also, so once he's figured that out, then he's willing to see, or maybe he's waiting for them to kind of weaken a little bit, get a bit tired, and then
I,
show his.
I don't think so. From whatever I've seen with this boy, I think he's a slow starter. Not taking anything away from him as a player, but
Mm.
होता है. Not everyone hits the ground running straight
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
And everyone इंजन को थोड़ा ऑयलिंग करने में सबका थोड़ा टाइम लगता है अलग.
yeah,
And I think this boy is still finding his feet in international football, even though he may have made his debut ages back in that SAF wala where he scored. Um, he's been he's kind of come into himself in the domestic league in these last 2 seasons.
yeah. He's been a bit
Where
up and down, Pandit. You remember when we chatted to him before he went on that trial
but
to?
that was a different boy ना भाई. वो उस टाइम उस लड़के पे पेस था, but कोई फिनिशिंग इन द सेंस ना क्रॉस फिनिश हो रहा था, ना गोल अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रहा था।
Hmm.
चेन्नईयन में जब लड़का सडनली अपने में आया एंड मुंबई पिक्ड हिम अप,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
what I saw was again he was making a lot more, but
Yeah.
again the this thing was less
Hmm.
in terms of what you're finishing the cross, or if you're getting a shot at goal, how are you finishing it? Mumbai clearly picked him up, saying that here we have someone who can break on pace, right? And he gives us that, and he's grown, he's improved at least from what you saw in the second half. राइट फुट से क्रॉस दे रहा था, मैंने उसको कब देखा है इतना राइट फुट से क्रॉस देते हुए?
Hmm.
ज्यादा देखा नहीं मैंने, वो
Yeah.
लेफ्ट फुट टाइप प्लेयर लगता है ज्यादातर।
Yeah. So I think between the set of coaches that are working on them, kind of, and I guess club side में तो अगर if you're playing around, if you have better players who are then asking the ball of you, they are
Hmm.
demanding a kind of quality from you that you need to also deliver more often than not. So
Yeah.
small changes, I think incremental changes. And that, which brings us to, like, I suppose the next question, which is like the longer term project in this whole scenario. But I
Not long
think
term, right? Whatever
for
project
now,
is
focus
aiming at the Asian Cup,
is
that
only
project,
Asian
nahi uska.
Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So from that perspective,
But did you get a sense that if when India will play the Asian Cup, let's forget who they get from pot one, your Qatar and all. That's a different game. But who
mm,
you get in pot three could be a Jordan, could be the Kyrgyz. You could get an Oman, and
yeah,
possibly this
yeah,
is the kind of game you need to play in the build up to the tournament. Because
yeah.
कोच साहब से आप मिलके आए हो, और कोच साहब ने साफ साफ आपको बोल दिया, पूरी दुनिया को बोल दिया कि ये मुझे तो चाहिए जी
One,
4 वीक कैंप।
one point agenda.
हमें चाहिए फोर पर यहाँ पे रिप्लाई आ गया है कि जी आप ये टूर्नामेंट्स खेलने वाले हो, विच इज़ नॉट हैपेंड बिफोर टू बी फेयर फ्रॉम अ नेशनल टीम पर्सपेक्टिव इन अ कैलेंडर ईयर। यू हैवंट प्लेड दीज मेनी गेम्स रेगुलरली, सो यू आर गेटिंग ऑल दीज गेम्स। आपने इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल खेलना है, आपने साफ खेलना है, किंग्स
कि
कप खेलेंगे आप, एशियन।
इसमें से आप सैफ और एशियन गेम्स तो हटा दीजिए, ठीक है?
क्यों? सैफ तो फुल स्ट्रेंथ खेल सकती नहीं, एशियन गेम्स अंडर 23 हो गया चलो।
फायदा क्या है फुल स्ट्रेंथ टीम का टू प्ले सैफ भाई?
नहीं,
आप
but
एशियन
in a
कप
year, but in a year where you're building up for the Asian Cup, you're looking at games as the best way to prepare. Na? So you will use as many games
well,
as you can, try out new systems, and I,
I
I
mean,
mean, honestly, I'm not a fan of new systems.
and this is not the point to try out new systems. I think now that's what, like, it. You'll have to look at somebody will have to take a call on. You can't have both, right?
My,
Uh,
my my point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tournaments. So in a possibility 10, 12 games, right? Let's just assume minimum 12 games at least, right? And more depending on how you do in these tournaments. In the space of what is we're in March right now. So in the
yeah.
space of 8, 9 months, let's say you aim at 15 games in the space of 8, 9 months. I don't think that's a bad option, bhai. As opposed to disrupting the league, taking away the best players, 25 best players of the team 4 weeks before the tournament, and continuing
The
your way forward.
league is irrelevant. I don't think that has.
Why, bhai? But the league is bread and butter for everyone. There are a lot of people
No,
involved,
but
ecosystem
so
involved.
for 4 weeks, I mean, I don't know, yeah.
Yeah,
This
no, ya to see, because ya to you put in a word with the league and say you take a break at that time. But that is, you have to look at it from their perspective also, ना? आप मतलब फॉरेन प्लेयर को वापस भेजोगे कि रखोगे? 1 महीना आप क्या करोगे उनके साथ? आपके खर्चे बढ़े रहे होंगे, वैसे भी आप कुछ पैसा नहीं बना रहे हैं, तो आप बीच में आप निकाल रहे हैं। या आप उनको बोलो कि जी आप 25 बेस्ट इंडियन प्लेयर निकाल दो, टूर्नामेंट फुस हो जाएगा। बिकॉज़ लाइक इट और हेट इट, द टूर्नामेंट डज़ नॉट वर्क ऑन फॉरेन प्लेयर्स। द टूर्नामेंट वर्क्स ऑन द बेस्ट इंडियन प्लेयर्स, व्हाइल द फॉरेन प्लेयर्स आर मेकिंग द मैक्सिमम इम्पैक्ट। 100% दे आर पुलिंग द स्ट्रिंग्स। बट अगर कोई देखने जाता है तो वो एक छेत्री को देखने जाता है, वो एक चांगटे को देखने जाता है, वो एक बिपिन को देखने जाता है, झिंगन को देखने जाता है।
yeah.
तो
So it's a challenging situation. See, preparing a team in a camp environment, right? Abhi matches खेल के, we have to play some matches, no doubt, right? And World Cup qualifiers, etc., to have to Asian Games. It's a if they decide to send the team, because like I don't know. It's not a medal prospect for India, and therefore,
But you'll get a chance to play games, na bhai.
So for the younger age group, okay, fine, where you are testing players, right? But you also have to be very careful with your core 15, 16 players because you don't want to injure players, man. You need to keep them for the Asian Cup. You don't want a situation where a Sunil and a Manveer and let's say, forget about like, but you know what I mean? Not
नहीं,
wanting
but
to
भाई,
anyone, but
भाई
like if
when
you have three of the main players out, you're really then restricted in what you can do when you get there because
but
these
भाई
are the guys who you've been giving now consistent exposure over some time,
but
both
भाई
at the youth.
यार मैं अपने भाई रिचर्ड से मिला अभी, just bumped into him and we were talking about the same thing,
Hmm.
and he said, yeah, this whole argument of protecting your players in terms of how many games they're playing so they don't burn out doesn't hold true for our league
I'm not talking
because आप
about
खेल ही रहे
burnout,
हो.
bhai. I'm not talking
No,
about
even
burnout.
from an
I'm
injury
talking about
perspective.
injury. Yeah, because
नहीं, but
see, it's different because players are not used to it now. That's all I'm saying. And there are so many guys who have because also they take decisions like taking injections and playing and things like that, steroid shots, cortisone, whatever it is, to get through your important games, whether it's the playoffs or whatever, and you end up aggravating stuff. So there is a detriment to having a short season also. Yeah, players
पर भाई
don't.
मैं नहीं, पर मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं कि ये जो हम प्रेपरेशन करते हैं कि जी लंबा कैंप ले लो, which is a extraordinary scenario, right? It's not
Yeah,
a normal scenario. It was
yeah,
done when we were preparing for 2011, right?
yeah.
Because at that time we had qualified after 20 odd or whatever number of years. I don't know the
27,
exact number,
30
right?
years almost. Yeah.
Now, why are we treating this Asian Cup like this will be again a 20-year gap for us? We have
भाई
to assume now,
उस टाइम एक साल मिला था टीम को यार इस बार ये एक महीना मांग रहा है इट्स
but
नॉट द
my
सेम
but
थिंग
why we have to assume that now regularly we are playing Asian Cup. Yes, they've
yeah
expanded it.
so
They've expanded it.
some of the issues is because all of this pandemic related jamal happened na that China pulled out. China no longer wanted to because they had a zero COVID policy that is only opened up later on, right? Before that, already the Chinese said we cannot host this tournament. And now it could have happened in South Korea in July in the summertime, which would have been
Hmm.
great for India, right? He could have had 2 months with the national team with 30,
Hmm.
40, however many players he wanted, and then
Hmm.
and played a couple of these tournaments that you're talking about, and then gone to the Asian Cup. But because Qatar were given the rights again,
Hmm.
it's been moved to a winter tournament. So
भाई
that's
I
gone
mean,
in
come
place.
on. वो
No, no,
आपके
but
हाथ में नहीं है ना भाई ये सब चीजें, तो
हाँ
उसको
नहीं है ना
लाने का क्या
तो,
फायदा है?
तो फिर क्या अब क्या कर सकते हैं अब डिफिकल्ट है सिचुएशन तो अब ये सब
आप
अगर हुआ है तो एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी आपको सोचना पड़ेगा एंड एटलीस्ट वी हैव द फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी दैट अभी हम थोड़ा बहुत आगे पीछे कर सकते हैं ना
आपने
अगर
आपने
जरूर
इनसे बात बात करी थी
हाँ
मणिपुर में. Interview is very good, by the way, everyone is saying, and the amount that's been shared online tells you that as well. So well done. What sense did you get from him? What sense do you get from him? In the sense, and what I'm asking is with regards to this, कि आप मांग तो लो 4 हफ्ते, पर अगर नहीं मिला फिर क्या करोगे आप?
फिर क्या करेंगे भाई नेक्स्ट बेस्ट थिंग करेंगे और क्या अ, अब वो ही इज देयर ही इज इन द जॉब टिल after the Asian Cup. So if he doesn't get 4 weeks, he gets 2 weeks. He'll try to juggle around with these international tournaments and do the best, I guess,
But
of
you'd
that
have to
situation.
assume, in terms of the number of tournaments and matches you're getting, is the maximum. The team hasn't played these many in a year, calendar year before. So in that sense, you are doing something different because it's a Asian Cup year.
No, yeah,
Should
it's
this
fair
be,
enough.
should this
It's
should
fair
this be
enough.
the
But
norm going forward every year? 100%. But I'm saying if you're starting it
yeah,
now and
so by way now different teams for different tournaments. Like the Asian Games, for example, is a under 23 football tournament. It's not a senior football tournament. You're
True, but
allowed
you can
to.
take 3 senior players, and
You're allowed
it's
a certain
it's not
number
like
of.
you don't have under 23 senior players playing in the senior team, so you can take a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
young boys.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of this has to be divided up. I honestly think for the SAF Cup, India should play an under 21 squad. Uh, make it like a real test. And I think some of our under 21 boys are as good as, because it's such a young team, so many young players. I mean, uh, so that's how you kind of balance it out. That younger boys are getting to play senior level football. And then obviously in your serious games like a World Cup qualifier and all, then you need to have your best 11 to be able to pick from. And whatever that situation might be, for the next few years, whoever the India coach is, they will always ask for more time with their players. It's just
Any
that's
coach will ask for more time. That's just,
any
I mean,
coach.
किसी को भी ले
Yeah,
लो.
yeah. It's different from the even if you actually kind of go to the most developed football countries, even those guys will say, "हाँ एक हफ्ता और दे दो तो कोई बुरा नहीं है."
हाँ.
I mean, there's of course an optimal period. You don't want a 12-week camp. Also, people get fried and want to kill themselves. Sorry,
हाँ.
but yeah. So like that 1 year sort of extended world exposure tour slash camp that the team at that point went on. A lot of these stories we don't know and talk about much, but also impacted the lives or the careers of those players in a different way. There were guys who like could have had contracts at some small clubs outside, some Asian clubs, etc., etc. But Bob wasn't going to have any of it. He was like, if you want to be in my squad, I'm getting you guys paid, getting you a central contract, all of that jazz. You have to be with the team. You can't then say, okay, I'm going to Australia or I'm going to China or I'm going to Thailand or wherever I'm going to play. So they had to. A lot of people have to. So 1 year of you're away from your family and things like that. Some people have those responsibilities and things as well. As yes, everyone can relate to that stuff. So it's yeah. It's
पता नहीं भाई, मुझे नहीं लगता मिलेगा 4 हफ्ते. मुझे नहीं लगता. Now whether it's correct or not, I've told you how I feel. I feel like we can't go on just saying कि this is the only way of preparing.
I also actually I agree with you, भाई. कि अब जो हमारे पास है, we should say do the best of that and say okay.
Yeah, I mean ऐसे में कौन सा आप 4 हफ्ते के बाद हम कह रहे हैं कि आप ग्रुप से क्वालिफाई करो. I mean आप बोलने के लिए बोल दो, but realistically आप नहीं करोगे.
No, but that's not. Let's not get that far.
है ना? तो वही मैं कह रहा हूँ. Point वही है.
But the way the team plays, the things they are able to execute, like some of the things that they were able to do, even small things like set pieces, right? Now, the penalty was earned off a piece of play that they have drilled. The foul, the free kick that was taken, the combination between Brandon Fernandez, who, by the way, everyone was saying will not start, but did start, guys. Thank you. That ball to Jingan and that these things are worked out on the training ground, right? So it's good to see that those aspects of the training part are working out. Also, we saw in the warm-up, for example, that the team was practicing because they were playing a slightly different shape. They were practicing 11 versus 0 movement, right? Just putting the ball in the net, just how they are going to move.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which Kennedy was actually bringing up in a conversation that
this is based, yeah,
that quite often in India you say 11 versus 0, like क्या कर रहा है? Football is played.
मैंने ये drills किए हैं.
So those things, and I think now because there is some level of tactical adaptability in a lot of these players, they get it a lot faster than I think they did earlier. So you need less time, but you still need some time to work on things. So it's a balance. Let's see what they do.
भाई लड़कों से आपने बात करी वहाँ पे, not just Gurpreet, again nice interview, And if you haven't seen it, please go on our YouTube page and check it out. Just purely because भाई हमारा मणिपुर गया है, हमारे पेज पे तो इतना एक्शन मिल रहा है जितना किसी को नहीं मिला होगा बड़े टाइम से। तो एक्शन ही एक्शन चल रहा है वहाँ पे। जाइए और अगर सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो सब्सक्राइब करिए चैनल पे। बट अदर प्लेयर्स डोंट नीड टू नेम देम भाई। क्या बात हो रही थी आपकी इन लड़कों से? आप होटल-वोटल जा रहे थे, यू स्पेंडिंग टाइम विद देम। व्हाट आर दे सेइंग अबाउट दिस टीम? एंड डोंट टेल मी द यूजुअल थिंग कि नहीं अच्छा चल रहा है, ये चल रहा है, वी शुड ऑल गिव आवर बेस्ट व्हेन वी वांट टू प्ले एंड ऑल दैट। वो सब ठीक है भाई, वो सब कोई बोलते हैं। उसके आगे कुछ बताओ ना। एंड डोंट नेम, आई एम नॉट आस्किंग यू टू नेम एनीवन, जस्ट टेल मी समथिंग व्हाट
No,
यू
no,
थिंक।
no. Name so this is all observational only stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to like unless I'm quoting somebody. I'm not going to say that oh this guy said that like
Hmm.
anyway. So just
What is the sense on the
observational.
team?
The sense in the team actually, man, observationally, the most positive thing I saw was that everyone really wants to get better. They, or at least most of the guys, out of the 23 plus Sahal came to 24 players that I saw there.
Hmm.
The intensity level in training, for example, progressed,
In
right?
what sense?
Like it just became more and more intense. Every training session was a little bit better. People were trying. Like Sandesh was top scoring in training sessions on certain days, right?
Okay.
When they are working these movement based set pieces
Hmm.
and things like that. So everyone is kind of trying to improve on the previous performance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're getting a lot of inputs, and it's difficult sometimes to understand and keep up because you're, I guess, trying to work on a lot of different things, and there's not much space to kind of like you won't get unlimited chances to not execute, right? एक दो तीन चार बार उसके बाद like what's going on.
Hmm.
So um, I think after the Kyrgyz game, everyone loosened up. I think there's a lot of pressure that has also been building up on these guys.
Hmm.
They are quite young, so I think for most of the first like days while the matches were on, everyone was quite to themselves. Um, I don't know why mixed lag raha hai. I don't like some players are walking around with the confidence of knowing that they or looking like they know their role, what they are there to do, what they need to work on.
Huh.
Uh, but not everyone does. So there are still some gaps that I guess need to be filled.
वो तो यार भाई वो तो वही बात आ जाती है ना कि कोई नया लड़का जो आता है टीम में, तो उसके पहले कुछ दिन जो होते हैं वो यू नो थोड़ा हाउ डू आई पुट इट, वो फीलिंग वो तो आती है जब रेगुलरली एक साथ खेलो, रेगुलरली
Mm,
जीतो हारो एक साथ,
yeah.
तो एक वो फीलिंग आती है।
So like a
डू
guy like Mahesh, for example, he's fit really well into the system. The coaches are impressed with him, right?
हुँ,
He's working hard in training. So अगर वो अच्छा बॉल डाल रहा है और of that Chhetri or whoever is playing in his attacking group are able to get good finishing chances, then they are also happy. So and then in the game situation, he's shown that he has the confidence and kind of the I don't know,
हुँ।
little bit more ideas. Right?
Yeah, seems a
Yeah,
lot more like he belongs there, at least in the initial
yeah,
days.
yeah. And it's
Yeah,
his first time in an India camp. I mean, and
exactly.
so he's progressed from I League to
Yeah, that's
ISL
yeah, that's a good
to
quality.
so
Yeah, the boy's
so
grown regularly.
yeah. So if he puts in a bit of work, right? And so for a guy like Mahesh who has all of that, right? Where now, yes, he needs to get game time. Yeah. So
Hmm.
for a guy like him, I think as many games as he can get at the Asian level or whatever, he should be in
Hmm.
all the teams. If he's under 23 still, I'm not sure.
Yeah, bhai. See, I kind of For me, I thought the biggest plus was Changte. The Changte we saw in the second game versus Kyrgyz. In the first game, you can say whatever that कोई आ नहीं रहा वहाँ पे, जेलिंग नहीं हो रही, जो भी नहीं हो रहा। पर जनाब आपका तो काम है जब बॉल मिले आप बंदे को काटो, क्रॉस डालो, वो नहीं हो पा रहा था। So there was an improvement in the second game of what you saw of the boy. So that was a big positive because he gives you something you can use in the Asian
Everything
Cup.
in the second game was an improvement.
100%. And versus a better team also. So that is also an improvement in a sense. Because उन्होंने when they turned on the screws in the second half आपको पता चला उनके बारे में थोड़ा,
थोड़ा सा,
जैसे हाँ थोड़ा आपको पता चला क्या है ये टीम. Clearly
yeah,
not having the best of times, but you got to know what they are, and you have to give credit to the Indian team for doing what they did about that.
yeah.
Other than that, Anwar Ali मेरे को बड़ा पसंद आया भाई. And I'm not taking Sandesh and all names because they've been around, so they are going to be around. Um,
सो वही है, तीन दो या तीन ये हैं जो जिनको तो खेलनी है ना, टू उनका मैनेजमेंट एक्सेप्ट गुरप्रीत होपफुली, मतलब
hmm.
as a goalkeeper the situation is a bit different, so that's fine, but
Yeah, and I feel the toss up will be between Thapa and Brandon, and for me that toss up will work if you have teams who are lower ranked than you or will sit back, then you play Brandon, because at least he has the ability to open it aerially, from distance or wherever. But if you have teams like who you have to run at and who you have to counter at, then you play Thapa because he then at least gives you the option of making runs from the middle and joining up with whoever is playing up front. If it's Sunil, or it's Manveer, whoever it is, he gives you an option going forward, and he continues to do that. उसकी एक off the ball running एक बड़ी उसकी खास quality है, मैंने उस लड़के की देखी है, for whatever he does and rejoining in positions and everything. Because बीच में सुरेश वांजाम ने अपनी जगह बना ली है, he is undroppable, sir.
I would
सुरेश
agree,
वांजाम,
yeah.
हाँ, he is
And he's
undroppable
one of
वो
the
लड़का.
few guys in that, like, or maybe, I mean, undroppable because he can give you 90 minutes day in, day out. Yeah.
Yes, I
You,
still
that,
I
I
still
mean,
feel there's a हाँ भाई.
I don't think Brandon Anirudh at international level, 90 minutes is,
Anirudh maybe still, but Suresh is a show shot. I still feel that other guy with Suresh, I'm not convinced on Jackson. रोहित कुमार का सैंपल साइज ही बहुत छोटा है, तो कुछ कह नहीं सकते. तो अभी भी वो एक लड़का ढूंढ रहे हैं. सरप्राइजिंगली उसने यासिर को इतना खिलाया नहीं, एक्सेप्ट फॉर दैट फर्स्ट गेम. उसके बाद उसको दिखा नहीं हमें उसे खेलने के लिए. So yeah, and Bipin Singh also again. Bipin Singh has flattered receive at the international level. तो वो भी चल रहा है. सो थोड़े-थोड़े यहाँ पे आंसर्स मिले हैं आपको इस हीरो ट्राइनेशन पे. एंड आई काइंड ऑफ भाई, ऐसे टूर्नामेंट्स तो रेगुलरली होने चाहिए. होपफुली आई यू गॉट अ प्रोएक्टिव टीम at the federation and who understand the importance of making the national team play. Asian Cup year or no Asian Cup year, you have to continuously play if you want to grow the sport. And even from their perspective, if they're chasing that whatever uh, that crazy figure they're chasing, that in 4 years we want to make that much, and so if they're expecting someone to invest that kind of money in the sport, then 60 to 70% of that will be dependent on what your national team does. And what your national team does उससे पहले आता है how much your national team plays, because then only will you get to see ना वो क्या करते हैं भाई.
you're
And
talking
what
about making what money?
I am saying, if they put in that target, remember in that the 2047 target, in 3 years time they want to make this much money. I've forgotten the
Yeah.
figure.
Yeah.
If you want to grow that, and clearly that money is going to come from outside sources where people will be putting in money on the sport, then 60 to 70% of that is dependent on what the national team is doing. And उससे पहले the national team needs to be playing regularly. So ये जो आपने ये इतना बड़ा चिट्ठा यहाँ पे दिखाया है ये खेलने का, this should be a regularity every year. This should be a regular feature
Yeah, yeah.
every year.
No, so, but yeah, I mean, indirectly, I get what you're saying that, like, uh, but otherwise, the national teams don't make money other than sponsorship. Nah,
No, no, I'm
they
not saying
only,
your national team will make money, bhai, but if someone has to invest in the sport, in
yeah,
Indian
it'll come
football,
through this
you know,
process.
the first point of entry is, अच्छा बताओ national team क्या कर रही है?
Hmm.
for anyone who's entering the sport ना. अच्छा,
Yeah.
आपकी नेशनल टीम ने 5 ही मैच खेले हैं पूरे साल में, तो हमसे इतना पैसा क्यों माँग रहे हो भाई?
Yeah. And as they do better, then progressively that number for the shirt sponsorship, all of those things,
All
everything
of
goes
that वो
up.
तो चलो
Everything.
ठीक है, हाँ, all of that goes up, but at least I'm saying we are still in a phase where we're just dependent on the national team at the end of the day. It has a direct impact, वो तो है ही, but our national team has a more than direct impact. Pretty much 70 to 80% impact on what the team is doing, interest generated, and so on. The senior national team, because then it kind of that umbrella shoots down onto everything else, which is club football, age group level football, and so on, and individual players. तो वो ही है भाई, ठीक है. Anything else you want to add? You're seeming pretty tired, so I think we'll end it. Um, Anything else you want to add that people might not have seen on TV or heard in our coverage from Manipur?
No, not much. Why? I think it was actually just add to not much. No, because both the interviews, I think Gurpreet's interview gave a pretty good perspective on where the players' heads are at. Obviously,
Hmm.
he's one of the more senior players, but he also gave us some kind of sense of what was going on. I don't think it was. वो सीधा बात करता है, like at least हमारे से तो सीधा ही बात करता है. I don't think
Hmm.
it was kind of cliched conversation.
Hmm.
But and the coach was clear on his what his thought process and his where he's at.
Hmm.
So so it was good to be in this kind of environment after a very long time. Actually, I think for me after the 2011 Asian Cup, this is the first time. So in like 12 years, the first time where like this kind of team situation I was able to experience with India. Um,
Hmm.
so that was great. And I really think, yeah, Manipur was fantastic to have these guys. And if they had done,
ये आपके लिए आया है मैसेज.
thanks, जानबूझ के तू सिलेक्ट करके तू ही डालता है
हाँ,
मैसेजेस
because
तो बहुत
Genjolian is
आया
shooting over. I'm shooting over his shoulder.
यार
पढ़ा
नहीं
हुआ है
वो
भाई.
सिनारियो उस सिनारियो में थोड़ा I can do it. It's not very complicated. I will do it from next time.
यस, यस सर, आओ ना, बिकॉज़ लोग आपसे प्यार करते हैं सर, बेहद प्यार करते हैं.
हाँ
ये लड़के
नहीं नहीं सही बात है
वो
सही
सुनना चाहते हैं आपको. वो रात को आपकी आवाज़ उनके सपनों में गूंजना चाहिए. ऐसी आवाज़
बात
निकलनी चाहिए. वो रात को उठे, नहीं, 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 4 हफ्ते का कैंप मिलना चाहिए. उनको सपने में उठ के ऐसे आना चाहिए.
हाँ
तो
हाँ
ठीक ठीक है भाई, गुड शो. एंड फर्स्टली गुड शो फॉर मणिपुर. मच लव फॉर मेकिंग द ट्रिप. And you cracked it with the coverage, bhai. Just want to say that I think we've grown. We won 6.29K. Post your Manipur trip, we're touching almost 6.5. So well done. Close to 200 odd new subscribers. So all you new subscribers, thank you for showing us your love and support. All the
friends
old
of
subscribers,
we call them friends of the
please,
show.
all the old friends of the show, please bring the new friends up to date with how the show works. And how
Or does or how the
or
show
does it,
doesn't.
or how
Yeah.
the show doesn't. Please bring them up to date. So that's that. Yeah, other friends, Ishwak
But
is not here.
lastly, I have to say, Pandit, is this if they do this kind of calendar, I'll be very happy because I'll get to see you at least 20, 25 times in a year, bro.
Hey, that's beautiful. Yeah, wow, we should get married after this.
दोस्त बन जाएंगे हम.
हाथ पकड़ के शो
हाँ.
करेंगे एक ही रूम से, अलग अलग स्क्रीन पे. बट ठीक है भाई, डन, डन डन आर डन. नाउ द चैलेंज इज कि हाउ डू वी कंटिन्यू डूइंग समथिंग गोइंग फॉरवर्ड व्हेन द नेशनल टीम इज नॉट प्लेइंग. सो उसके बारे में सोचेंगे. ये लो जी, आपकी फौज शुरू हो गई आपके बारे में. ये लो, एनी सर बेस्ट. वो तो है ही, ये तो नो डाउट अबाउट इट. भाई का हम थोड़ा मोराल बूस्ट कर रहे हैं ताकि रात को अच्छी नींद आएगी भाई को.
Thank you guys. Yeah,
हुँ?
I love you all too.
Yeah.
but but more importantly, I think this focusing on because all the other national teams are doing a lot of things as well, and luckily everyone now is streaming these on the whoever the host federation is, they all give out a stream because everyone wants to see. It may not be huge numbers. It was very good to see like the under 17 SAF is going on. I think Russia was one of the teams that has been invited. So watching a bit of that game, a few hundred
Hmm.
people were watching that. The women's team were playing a friendly against Uzbekistan. People were watching that as well. In fact, they did quite well, man, till the end. A bit, thoda sa switch off.
I saw that
3-2.
goal. I saw the
Yeah,
goal of that girl. Good goal.
yeah. So I mean, they also, I guess, need to play a lot more and all with all age groups. So maybe we can start focusing a bit on that
Hmm.
without getting into the fights between हमारे जो various clubs के fans हैं ना,
Hmm.
because at least here we are all then on the same team and then we are
Hmm.
discussing our various opinions on what to or how to with that team. Yeah.
ठीक है भाई. Point taken and noted. So we'll try working on something, possibly national team oriented, and whichever the national team is playing, hopefully
Mm.
every you like an update on what your national team was doing and continue the subject.
Yeah. In fact, we should chat very soon because the women's team are playing Olympic qualifiers uh, in Kyrgyz, and
Mhm.
our man Vaibhav Raghunandan is going with the team as their media guy.
Yeah,
So hopefully we'll get a chance to have him on the show and tell us what's happening, what he's seeing. Yeah.
ठीक है भाई. Vaibhav, when you come, just let us know your designation. Do we write AFF or do we write friend? Um, just let us know about that. Annie भाई, much love once again. आपसे मुलाकात होगी पता नहीं कब, अब 2 महीने बाद.
Yeah. Good
पर
luck to you with the cricket, my
हाँ,
friend.
कंप्यूटर पे मिलेंगे भाई. रेगुलरली कुछ ना कुछ बातें करेंगे. एंड मच लव टू ऑल ऑफ यू भाई. Thank you once again, and we will see you soon. Do like, share, subscribe, and spread it to other people. And I'm sure we can touch more and more people. Thank you once again, and good night.